listen to music.
The retina of the eye is made up of light-sensitive cells, photoreceptors, called rods and cones. The rods help you work out the difference between light and dark, whereas the cones help you figure out what colour that light is. Thanks very much. You have 3 different types of cones. One responds to blue light, one responds to green light, and one responds to red light. Your brain takes all this information from these different receptors and more and mashes it all together to give you a kind of impression of the world. If there's something wrong with your red cone, then the world looks a bit like this. Or if your green cone, a bit like this. Or if the blue receptor, a bit like this. We call all these conditions colour deficiencies, commonly known as colour blindness. This condition is much more common in men. More than 1 in 20 men have it, but less than 1 in 100 women. But why? It's all down to your genes. Most of our chromosomes come in pairs. We get one from each of our parents. But the X chromosome is different. Women have 2 X chromosomes, one from their mum and one from their dad. Men only have 1 X chromosome that they get from their mum and a Y chromosome that they get from their dad, which is much shorter. And in this demonstration, quite tasty. The genes for colour blindness are on the X chromosome. If a woman has something wrong with one of the copies of this gene on one of her chromosomes, then she's got another copy on the other chromosome to back it up. You need 2 broken copies of the gene to make a woman colourblind. As a man's only got 1 X chromosome, if there's something wrong with that one gene, then he'll be colourblind.
It's not that I can't see colors. I can see most colors, but it's that certain colors fade into what I would call indistinct.
The analogy I always use is that if you have a pack of 36 colored pencils, I can only see maybe 12 shades of those colored pencils.
We're trying to do those dot tests where they have the different numbers and it's like in a different color. But trying to do these, everyone will be like, oh, it's a 7, oh, it's a 62. And be like, you're all lying. Apparently there's one with a sailboat and I've never seen it.
This is Sam. He's a pretty special monkey. You see, unlike all other male squirrel monkeys, Sam can see the color red, and happily proves it in exchange for a sugar pellet.
In squirrel monkeys, so all the males have color vision deficiency, so they're all colorblind.
But not Sam here, whose ability to smoosh his face against the pink dots on a touchscreen represents a culmination of color vision research by Jay and Maureen Knights.
Maureen is a geneticist and genetic engineer, and I'm a neuroscientist, and so we put together our expertise.
Not to bring male squirrel monkeys up to par with females.
Our whole goal was eventually to be able to do this in people.
Colorblind people, many of whom might be green with envy, watching a monkey see red.
We decided that we would give it a shot and try to see if we could do the cure.
Easier said than done. Colorblind isn't an illness. It's 100% genetic.
Right.
So that...
Finding that faulty gene was relatively simple. Replacing those genes inside the cone cells with the right genes, well, that's a bit trickier.
You have to have some way of delivering a gene to the cells that you're trying to treat and not into other cells.
Fortunately, nature has crafted a really powerful method of forcing DNA into a very specific cell, a virus.
The virus that we use is called adeno-associated virus, and people call it AAV. Its main advantage is that you don't get an immune response against the virus.
So while researching how to load the therapeutic gene into the virus, the Knightses trained a pair of colorblind male squirrel monkeys, Sam and Dalton, to take a colorblindness test.
Every single morning, the monkeys wake up, and before they have breakfast, they go, okay, it's time to have our color vision tested. And the monkey is trained to touch the place where they see, that colored blob, and then they get a treat. they can be most efficient and gets the most rewards if they're, just touch with their nose and then they get down and, get their little treat.
And just to be thorough,
we also ran untreated animals. Occasionally they might just by chance touch the right spot, but over trials you know that they can only really get it right all the time if they have normal color vision.
once the monkeys were trained and the virus was ready, Sam and Dalton underwent a fairly elaborate procedure.
A vitreoretinal surgeon slipped the needle underneath the retina. Then the fluid is infused in order to treat the whole entire back of the eye.
It wasn't immediately obvious that it worked.
And we didn't know how long it was going to take for them to change their behavior after the pigment was expressed robustly.
Now when you look back and you see the difference between the animals, it's so dramatic, It's an amazing thing, and it amazed us.
Although the FDA has yet to approve the procedure for human trials, recently the Knightses have developed a one-shot version of the cure.
It's like an everyday shot that would take, 1 second.